Hey, what have you been seeing news-wise for real estate? Have you been seeing that the market's cratering? The interest rates have gone up and the buyers are just going to be able to get a screaming deal, and sellers, you missed out and it's terrible. And, now you can just do whatever you want. It's like the Wild West. You could just go make low offers, and sellers have to take your offer, right? Because, interest rates have gone up and you should take what you get, bird in hand. Well, I am here to set this notion straight. Hi there, it's Michele Replogle, Coldwell Banker Realty. And I have quite a few listings and I have buyers. And like I've always said, it's good to have both because you really get the perspective of what's truly going on in the market, not just from being a listing agent and telling buyers and buyers agents, nope, you're going to do what we want. Mr. and Mrs. Seller don't want that and they're not going to work with this, or being just on the buyer side and not really understanding where the sellers are coming from and what it's going to take to get the seller's attention to actually get your offer accepted. I have 4 examples of where a buyer wrote an offer and thought that the seller should just take whatever they offer because darn it, that's the market, and values are going down and they should take it. I have a listing where a buyer did that and he told me, well, values are going down and, this is what she should take. I have had a buyer, they actually wrote an offer on a property. There was another offer on it, but it was lower and we managed to squeak them out. Actually, I've done that twice. Now, that other buyer was trying to get it less, but guess what? They didn't get it. So, and that's 3. Okay, what's the 4th one? The 4th one I did, I had 3 offers. One that actually kind of backed out. One that was still kind of hanging in and around there. And then the other buyer just stepped up and said, we want it. And they got the house. That was 4 transactions I've been involved with in the last 4 weeks. And the buyers were like, yeah, I get it. Interest rates have gone up, but actually they've gotten a little bit better. And some buyers actually have gotten some nice adjustable products that have made the interest rate right around 4 1/8 to almost 4 1/4, which is where they kind of were before the interest rates went down so drastically. So they're kind of sitting where they were probably about 2018, 2019. And they offered up because they wanted the house. Now I get it. Everybody's afraid of paying too much and sellers are afraid of taking too little. But sellers, look, if you're selling, make sure you have your number within a range. If you're set steadfast on a number, you may be disappointed, but if you're a little bit flexible, you can probably still get pretty close. And let me tell you this, there's a buyer out there that wants a house. They don't want to play games. They are actually kind of keeping blinders on a little bit on the news because if they subscribe to that, they will be with all those other buyers, those other 4 buyers that actually did not secure the house and put it under contract. So bottom line is it's not all doom and gloom on either side. The buyers are getting it for a little bit less than list. Sellers are doing really well and the market is still humming along. It's actually really pretty busy. The active inventory is 300. New listings are 53. Price reductions are 27. That's down 19 from the week before. And then pending and contingent is 55, and that's up 5. So I'm going to tie this together. 5 transaction canceled. That's the same as last week. Sold is 30. Expired canceled 10. And then back to the active inventory is 300. So price reductions are 27, down from last week. So they probably did their price reduction and then they might have gotten an offer because 55, that's up. And then transaction canceled. That's really interesting. Okay, so 5 last week, that's up a little bit. And then 5 this week. Do you know what I think that some of that is being caused by? I think that a buyer went in and made an offer, and then because they were able to bring back the physical contingency, they went back to the seller and they said, hey, you know what? We like your house, but we've decided it needs all this work and we want you to take a lower price. And the seller says, no. That is still happening. Sellers are saying no. and buyers are having to decide if they want to move forward. And then, like I said, there's plenty of other buyers that kind of come right behind them and say, yeah, we're good. We'll take it. You know, it isn't a fire sale out there. Oh, I'm not supposed to use fire. YouTube doesn't like that. It's not a discount bargain basement situation out in the real estate market. Let me just say that. So interest rates are 5.5. A jumbo, which is in our area, of course, you know, remember that's over that 900,000 loan amount mark, where you kind of get in that jumbo area, and they are 5.25. So I mean, you know, the rates aren't bad. We've seen those rates consistently, at least through my career, despite the down markets. And then those adjustables that are really good. 10-year adjustables are really good. And I saw one, a buyer had one at 4 1/8. And, you know, we know in the next 10 years that the interest rates probably are going to adjust again, of course, right? Once we kind of get this inflation, I can't say fire, but this inflation growth, once we get that tamped down, the interest rates will probably come down. I had a lender say, you know, probably within the next year or so, we'll start to see them come down even lower. But we'll see how much that really affects things, because what we're starting to see is prices are still hanging on there pretty good. And part of that is that inventory really hasn't bulked up as much as we thought, because you have sellers now that are like, well, I'm not going to get what I want. So they're not going to put their property on the market, or they didn't get what they want and they took it off. So it's not that easy. If you're a buyer, you have to be serious. You have to understand what the seller wants if you want their house. And if you're a seller, again, I encourage you to have a range of what you want, and you'll probably be just fine. And as always, get all the disclosures up front as you can possible to make sure that you cut off any back negotiation of your price, because I believe that's where some of those transaction canceled are coming from. And, you know, for some of them, it might be they didn't get the interest rate that they wanted, and it made their loan unattainable. So the market, what do we got here? Well, we have buyers and sellers that are still just doing just fine. It's still super busy out there. I expect it to stay this way for a while. And we also have interest rates that have come down and may come down even a little bit more, because that last Fed interest rate changed the way investors invest, and that changes the interest rate. So another increase could actually decrease the mortgage rates even more. So, you know, if you were thinking, oh, I missed it, not necessarily. I mean, as a seller, you might still have a fairly good chance in the next couple months. Of course, you know, before winter, because winter is not always the best time. I also did a survey of properties that sold near the beach, and it's interesting that December was actually a fairly decent month to sell oceanfront, beachfront, and ocean view. It's a beautiful time of year, so don't give up completely. Now, January and February gets a little gloomy, so maybe not so much. But, you know, as a seller, you're doing just fine. And, you know, if you got to go, you got to go. So sometimes it just doesn't matter if the market is going to meet you. Sometimes you just got to go and meet the market where it is. Same as if you're a buyer. So, hey, subscribe to my channel. Reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you. And check out my podcast, The Realtor Lady. What else can I say? I hope you have a great week. Talk to you soon. Bye.